Today, the miracle drug that's targeting cancer cells.
We're really on the cusp of some very exciting times ahead.
Then, a killer on the loose who just wanted to kill more cops. The police chief in charge shares how he restored order. Plus,
I'm gonna make a lot of money.
the single mom who started to strip.
$100, dance off of a 3-minute song, I'm in.
On today's 700 Club.
Welcome to the 700, folks. It's nice to be with you. Wendy's here with me. We've had a marvelous time. She's been to Machu Picchu down in Peru, and I've been up in the mountains of Virginia while they were making my kitchen more wheelchair accessible for my dear wife.
We've both been to the mountaintop, and we've come back down.
Tell me about Machu Picchu. How was it?
The Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. It sounds so romantic. It was the perfect hike. It was the perfect, you know, it wasn't easy, but it was just a gorgeous. The mountains are incredible. It was challenging. It was very challenging. We went up to 14,000 feet.
Well, most tourists, don't they helicopter them in or do something? They don't walk there, do they?
You can actually, bus ride it up to Machu Picchu.
Oh, you can bus,
yeah, so there's, a tourist area there.
Yeah.
But there are mountains right at Machu Picchu, Huayna Picchu, which once we got, after 3 days of hiking the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, then we climbed Huayna Picchu, which was like just an hour up and back too. But it was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, and you survived.
Survived another mountain.
Well, I survived the mountains of Virginia. I was at 4,200 feet, but that's what I did. All right.
Hey, it's pretty high for Virginia.
Well, amen. Well, folks, if you've been listening to the news, and I'm sure you have, it's time to repeal and replace Obamacare and cut taxes. These are the top agenda for the president and Republicans on Capitol Hill. Can they get it done?
That's the question. The White House is moving ahead with its program as a new report has come out about officials from the Trump campaign meeting with a Russian lawyer during the election. Amber Strong brings us the story from Washington.
Taking to Twitter, the president said, "For years, even as a civilian, I listened as Republicans pushed the repeal and replace of Obamacare. Now they finally have their chance." With Congress back from that July recess, some members of the GOP are hoping to revise and adapt that original health care bill and get enough votes to pass it through. But others, like Senator Ted Cruz, have a different answer.
You, the consumer, should be able to choose what health care you want to buy. If you want to buy a plan with all the bells and whistles, with all of the mandates under Title I, you can buy that plan.
Cruz's Consumer Freedom Amendment would allow insurers to offer lower cost plans that don't offer all the benefits required by Obamacare, as long as they also offer plans that do. However, if all else fails, he says repeal Obamacare now and come up with a plan to replace later. But not all Republican senators are on board with that idea either. Meanwhile, the Trump White House says it's still working on its other key agenda, having some sort of tax reform passed by the end of the year.
The president's focus is a middle-income tax cut, reforming the business tax system to make it competitive, and creating a tax simplification that will grow this economy.
And while the president may be focused on health care and tax reform, the lurking topic of Russia was given new life after Donald Trump Jr. confirmed a New York Times report that he, Jared Kushner, and former campaign chairman Paul Manafort met with a Russian lawyer during the campaign season last year. That lawyer claimed to have pertinent information about Hillary Clinton's ties to Russia. Trump Jr. said in a statement, no details or supporting information was provided or even offered. It quickly became clear that she had no meaningful information. Trump Jr. says he left after he realized that, and a spokesperson says Donald Trump wasn't aware of it and didn't attend the meeting. President Trump has also taken some criticism for his meeting with Vladimir Putin at the G20 summit, after he asked Putin about Russian interference in the U.S. election. Putin denied it, but White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus says Trump didn't believe him. But even though Russia stories will likely be around for months to come, the White House remains focused on its priorities, replacing the collapsing Obamacare system and passing a tax plan to get the weak economy growing at a much stronger pace. Amber C. Strong, CBN News, Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no question that this was something called Fusion or whatever. It was a made-up organization in favor of the Democrats or for the Democrats to try to trick the Trump people. I mean, the whole thing is nonsense, and it's time to shut it down. The president's got more important things, and the American people have got more important things than these endless and endless debates. And frankly, Kimberly Strassel had a piece in the Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago that I think is very significant, that there were just innumerable leaks day after day after day after day by high-placed people somewhere in the government. And if the FBI and the special prosecutor wants to go somewhere, that's where they ought to go, because these are breaking the law. And it also appears that James Comey may well have broken the law, because he, in some of the things that he insisted on getting out to the New York Times, contained classified information that he knew should not have been released. So let's get this thing together. But the other thing the president's got to do is, very quickly, it seems like to me, is to tell Congress, you can't have an August recess. You've got to get this work done. We have to have this health care reform. We have to have a tax cut. We have to have a budget. And we've got to get it all together, and do it before the end of the fiscal year. And that comes out very quickly. So you can't take a month off at the beach or whatever in the summer. I know you'd like to do it, but you can't. So the time is, it's time to go to work, and we'll get you an extra air conditioning in case it's too hot in your office. All right? Right?
So what if they get,
that's my concession.
What if they get 2 out of 3? Would that be, or do they need to get it all?
If he gets 2 out of 3, it'll be magnificent, but they've got to get a budget, and the budget they've got to fight over, and then this business about the debt ceiling, and let's not close the government and all that nonsense. We can't go through that anymore. It's got to be done, and the Republicans have got to show the American people they know how to govern. So get with it, guys, and everybody get on board. I mean, perfection is not available to any of us. So let's stop trying to get the perfect, and let's get what we can get past, and then we can fix it. You know, there's a Secretary of HHS who can fix some of these laws once they're put in place. He has discretion to do certain things. Set up a law. Let's get it done. You've promised the American people, if they don't do it, guess what? They are not going to be in control of Congress. Now, maybe that's what some Republicans want, but I don't think they really should do it that way, because there'll be a lot of disappointed voters if they do. Well, in other news, the parents of the 11-month British baby, Charlie Card, are taking their case back to court. Amazing story. John Jessup has it.
Thanks, Pat. The parents appealed to Britain's High Court to present fresh medical evidence that an experimental new treatment could help prolong their son's life. The case has become an international controversy over the right to decide who makes the decisions for a child's treatment, the parents or the government. Dale Hurd brings us the story from London.
Charlie's parents say as long as there is a chance of saving their son's life,
it's a chance worth taking. We've been fighting for this medication since November. We're now in July. He's our son, he's our flesh and blood. We feel that it should be our right as parents to decide to give him a chance at life.
British and European courts have backed up doctors who want to turn off Charlie's life support, while his parents want to take him to America for experimental treatment. Charlie has a rare mitochondrial disease that can cause brain damage and death, but his parents say he does not have pain and suffering.
And he has not got catastrophic brain damage, as I'm sure you've read. There's no evidence of catastrophic brain damage. His brain is affected, but this medicine can get into the brain and help that.
Charlie's parents, Connie and Chris, simply want their son to have another chance to live. And they told CBN News they would be thrilled if he could come to America.
That's amazing. We love the support we've had, from all over the world, but America's been amazing. So yeah, I do have family in America. But yeah, no, we're really, really grateful. It's overwhelming.
The parents also delivered a petition Sunday with more than 350,000 signatures, urging London's Great Ormond Street Hospital to allow Charlie to be taken to the United States. Meanwhile, 2 U.S. congressmen say they'll offer legislation making Charlie a permanent resident so he can come to America. Dale Hurd, CBN News, London.
Thanks, Dale. Pat, this is just an unbelievable story.
It's unbelievable, but ladies and gentlemen, that's what happens when the government takes over things. They make decisions that are outrageous. This is the spawn, if you will, of socialized medicine. And they have socialized medicine. And so the socialists will not allow the parents of this little boy to take him to a place where he can get some advanced treatment. What's it to them? Why not say, here's your passport, we'll stamp it and give you a few pounds for your plane fee. Go over there and get it done. But no, they won't let him out of the hospital. This is an outrage. We're going to keep him there till he dies. That's the message of socialized medicine. That's why we've got to get rid of Obamacare, because they wanted to go in that direction. Here's John.
Pat, as you were saying earlier, more than half of former FBI Director James Comey's personal memos on his conversations with President Trump contain classified information. The Hill reports that's according to interviews with officials familiar with the documents. The paper says that revelation raises the possibility that Comey broke his own agency rules and that he ignored the same security measures he publicly criticized Hillary Clinton for late in the election season last year. Comey testified in June that the information in his personal memos was unclassified. Congress may follow up to determine if Comey mishandled any classified information. Well, turning to health news, not getting enough sleep may increase your risk for getting dementia or Alzheimer's. A new study found adults in middle age who didn't get enough good sleep had more biosigns of the buildup of the negative proteins that can lead to future brain problems. The results are published in a small study in Neurology magazine. One thing that sleep does is cleanse neurotoxins from the brain, the type that can lead to dementia or Alzheimer's. And not getting enough sleep could limit that from happening as much as it should. But researchers caution there's no clear link between not getting enough good sleep and dementia or Alzheimer's. Still, a lack of sleep has been tied to other health problems, so it's probably a good idea to get some shut-eye at night. Pat, how much do you recommend?
At least 7 hours, if at all possible. I don't know if we get that. The trouble is, everybody wants to watch late night television, so they're on till about 11 o'clock at night. Then by the time they get to bed, it's about 11:30, and then they get up at 6, so that's not 7 hours. But we need 7 to 8 hours if we can get it. And I'm not sure I ever get it, but I'll try, and I'm sure Wendy does everything.
On the weekends, maybe, but I'm such a night owl. I actually come alive around 10 p.m., and then I'm sort of like wired till midnight. So
I'm better in the morning. so here we go. All right.
Well, coming up, it's a revolutionary new cancer drug, and the scientists behind it say they were guided to it by God. They'll explain next.
Well, you're watching the 700 Club, and we're so happy every one of you in the audience are with us, and we're going to have a great show, a lot of good stuff coming up. There isn't a person, by the way, watching us who hasn't been touched in some way by cancer. But now, as Laurie Johnson tells us, a new cancer drug is providing hope for people suffering from a form of this dreaded disease.
Scientists at Raphael Pharmaceuticals believe their new drug, CPI-613, is a breakthrough for people suffering from some of the most devastating types of cancer, such as pancreatic, lymphoma, and lung. This is a vial of CPI-613. It's administered to cancer patients intravenously in a hospital. Each infusion lasts up to 2 hours. Cancer cells have different nutritional needs than healthy cells. CPI-613 targets cancer metabolism, which is a relatively new way of treating the disease.
I think at Raphael, we're really on the cusp of some very exciting times ahead in the field of oncology.
CPI-613 has performed very well in clinical trials and could be on the market as soon as next year. But people who need it right now might qualify for what's called compassionate use.
So we currently do not charge for compassionate use. We actually believe in helping, and so we currently give our drug without charging anything for compassionate use.
CPI-613 reportedly has fewer side effects than other cancer drugs. Laurie Johnson, CBN News.
Anything that will get rid of that dread disease. And joining us now are two key players in this exciting new cancer breakthrough. Howard Jonas, the executive chairman of Raphael Pharmaceutical, And Dr. Robert Shore is the Chief Scientific Officer and co-founder of Raphael Pharmaceutical. Dr. Shore, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
You are a rabbi.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, what you doing with medicine? Is that something that came along, or did you studied medicine, or?
Yes, I have a PhD and a DIC from the University of London Imperial College.
Yeah.
I'm not a physician, but I had the privilege to be part of some Nobel Prize-winning labs and develop an understanding of how diseased cells are different from healthy cells.
Okay.
And from the religious side of things, recognizing that all healing and everything else is in the hands of heaven.
That's right.
Really praying hard to have the privilege to be part of healing that gets brought into the world. And then looking into the religious texts for clues.
Yeah.
And so there's a prayer that we say daily that recognizes that if things that are open should be open or closed, or should be closed or open, illness is going to follow.
Amen.
So again, knowing that you know, God is in charge of everything, you know, what can we do to make sure that what needs to be open is open, and what needs to be closed is closed. And so the drugs that we are developing target specific properties of cancer cells, different types of cells that make them very different from healthy cells. So we're able to treat patients without, you know, the usual side effects that associated with chemo.
You're teaching the cancer cells to eat your medicine and die. Is that the idea?
That's very correct. Very astute, yes.
Okay. Well, Howard Jonas is one of my favorite authors. He started with a hot dog stand in Lower Manhattan, Virginia, and now he just made a several billion-dollar deal to sell one of his companies to a telephone company. Howard, it's so great to see you.
It's great to be here.
All right, now, you're the CEO and founder of this company. How did you get into pharmaceutical?
I always want to be in pharmaceuticals because it seemed like the business that does the most good for people.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who was the general counsel of Pfizer, and they turned me down. And I had another friend who was a high officer in Merck, and they turned me down. And then I had a friend of my son who'd been working in this company for a number of years. And, you know, every time I meet him, the first time I met him, I asked him what he's doing. He says he's working on curing cancer. And I thought, wow, what a great thing. And each time I meet him, I'd ask, how is it going? And he said, we're doing very well. And I said, look, if ever you need a board member, come. And I came, and the science was fantastic. Not only was the science fantastic, but the doctors at Wake Forest University in North Carolina had started to use the drug extensively on different cancers like AML leukemia, pancreatic cancer, T-cell lymphoma, and all these indications that it was doing well, but the ownership wanted to close the company down because they'd spent $50 million and they still didn't have any return. And I said, look, if you're going to close it down, I'd like to buy it. So, you know, I can't take the credit for everything. It was really Rob and the doctors at Wake Forest, but it's nice to be in charge.
Talk about the name, Raphael, it was called Cornerstone, and the numbers on the drug, they all have some biblical significance. What are they?
Yeah, well, you could talk on 613.
Yeah, well, the cornerstone, there's a passage in Psalms, Eben Masu Habonim Hoysel Rosh Pinah, the stone which the master builders overlooked has now become the cornerstone.
That's right.
And Raphael is the name of the angel of healing. And so we've progressed from the cornerstone to building a gateway, we hope, for healing for not only, the types of cancers that have been mentioned, for others that are currently untreatable.
This has a number. You don't give it a name. The drug
613 is the numbers of commandments that we have.
Oh, the number of commandments, that's what it is?
Yeah, so there's never been a 612 or a 614. We went into this, again, acknowledging, the source of everything. And recognizing that we would need to behave in such a manner as to create the vessel to hold the blessing of healing, and that's our job.
The Lord will honor that. Now, give us some examples of people who've used this miraculous drug. Now, which cancers would it apply to?
We've used it on about 300 people. It probably applies to all cancers. The 4 types that we're going into, that we've tested on, and now we're going into registration testing, are T-cell lymphoma, MDS, AML leukemia, and pancreatic cancer. And to give you an idea, in pancreatic cancer, the average life expectancy is, when you get it, is 6 to 11 months, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. We've had 18 patients at Wake Forest. We've had 3 complete remissions that everybody agrees on. We believe we've had 6. One of those that are not amongst the 3 was a guy who was on the drug for about 16 months, and then he said it's the hunting season in Alaska, he wants to go hunting, and he disconnected himself, and he's been off drug for a year and a half, cancer-free. The group as a whole, there's 8 of the 18 are still alive, and a lot of them well.
You know, I don't like to address your opponents in this thing, but I really am not a fan of chemotherapy because that kills cells. And I've had so many people I've had the privilege of ministering to who just gave up after chemo. They were so exhausted. Your drug doesn't exhaust people and doesn't kill cells, does it?
No, but in some parts of cancer, in some of our indications, we use only our drug. In others, like pancreatic cancer, we use a very reduced dose of the chemo drug with our drug, because what our drug does is it knocks out the mitochondria in the cell, which is a part of the cell that generates the energy so that it can reproduce. What the chemo does is when the cell is weak, it hits it and destroys its DNA. So, you know, it depends on the disease, but in some...
Your drug takes out the mitochondria, is that what you said? Is that what?
Yeah, you can...
you don't want to do that, though, do you? I mean, the mitochondria is the energy source of the cell.
It selectively goes only to cancer cells.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we want to do, is the thing that distinguishes a cancer cell from a normal cell is that its mitochondria is putting out more energy.
So you will get the mitochondria of the cancer cell, not of the healthy cells.
Right.
And your drug will bypass the healthy cell?
That's right. The cancer metabolism, there are certain aspects of it that are essential. The healthy cells are able to make themselves.
Sure.
The cancer cells believe that our drug is something that is essential for their survival. And so they take it up into the cells, deliver it to the mitochondria, where for the most part, healthy cells will ignore our drug.
Okay.
And then within the mitochondria, the enzymes that are unique to cancer will then act, and the cancer cells will be destroyed.
Well, but you can somehow, I mean, the healthy cell's mitochondria is vital to its, life.
And we don't touch those.
You don't touch them.
That's correct.
How do you do that?
There's a series of events. There are a number of membranes, like doors, that have to pass through that are different in cancer cells from healthy cells. So, like the keys and the locks are different in a cancer cell than a healthy cell. So our drug opens up the doors for the cancer cells to get into the mitochondria, but in the healthy cells, those doors remain locked.
Nice.
But not every patient has been a complete responder. So we're focusing on those patients that are already responding, but in our research and development efforts...
How did you come up on this breakthrough? How is it? These other guys spent $50 million trying to come up with the answers, and did the Lord give that to you?
Yes. The honest answer is we started out really with wishful thinking.
Yeah.
We met a professor at the State University of New York at Stony Brook, Dr. Paul Bingham, and his wife, Susanna. And they suggested an idea that they had to me, and I put together a team of folks with funding, and we started to move things forward, and we knew what we needed to do, and we just kept at it. Funding was very difficult to achieve.
I bet.
Yeah, and things got very tough for a while. So we prayed real hard, and God sent us Howard.
So Howard was the angel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's the Raphael.
Well, Howard's passion for helping people and doing what we need to do for the right reasons is something that matters to me a great deal.
Sure.
It's not just the money. We have to have the money to do what we need to do. But again, it's creating the vessel to contain the blessing.
Well, just before we get through, and they're giving me a wrap sign, but look, you had like a revelation. I mean, you were praying about this, and this like eureka, this thing came to you, or this was just hard work, just one after the other, trial and error? Well,
we all have opportunities, and the answers are frequently there, and it's the eyes that are looking. And so we knew that there needed to be certain features that would be beneficial in cancer. So we went looking all over the world for those types of molecules that would have what we're looking for. But then one day, Paul and his wife come walking into my office, and they say, "We heard you know about cancer. We have some ideas. What do you think?" So there are no accidents.
Sure.
And so recognizing the opportunity really is what we did. And some very courageous people put in a tremendous amount of money really to help us to move forward. And today there are many people alive that would not otherwise have been.
Well, how are you going into clinical trials now? Is it ready to come forth as a finished
product? It's ready as a drug. We've treated about 300 people. We get requests all the time to give it out on compassionate care, and we sometimes do, even though there's certain risk involved in that. We were just written up to 3 big medical journals in the world. So Lancet just wrote this up, which is like
it's the big one.
Yeah, it's the seal of good housekeeping, the approval thing. And since then, most of the major medical centers in the world have contacted us, so we're going to be working with about 50 of them starting in September.
If what you say is right, this is the most revolutionary breakthrough in cancer treatment that's ever come down the pike, isn't it? I mean, this is extraordinary.
It certainly looks that way. I mean, if we do as well, with the next 700 as with the last 300, it will be.
Unbelievable. Well, for the whole world. I mean, this is a curse that... It's so hard to, cancer just as a killer is so hard to deal with. I mean, I know from dealing with people.
Right. The problem is right now we're able to succeed with about a little over 60% of patients. We're hoping that, it looks good in the lab. We're hoping that the next 2 formulations will be able to get that close to 100%. But, we're not there yet, and it's sort of heartbreaking when it doesn't work.
Well, you're doing what you can. All right. Is there anything our audience can do to help you along the way? They're listening to what we're saying right now. Can they get
I just wanted to come to this particular audience because, we were changing the name to Raphael, and, we're the only pharmaceutical company in the world with a name like that. And I want them to know that, it's, people believe in God. We're getting stuff done.
Well, I'm
just like you are.
Well, God bless you, and I'll ask people to pray for Raphael Pharmaceutical. And man, if this thing works, what a boon it'll be to humanity. This is really marvelous. Well, God bless you both, and thank you for being with us and for sharing this.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
it's a pleasure to watch you. It's a pleasure to be here, a pleasure to watch you on TV.
Well, you're always welcome. Come back as often as you can.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, you can find out more about Raphael Pharmaceutical and the breakthrough cancer drug they're working on by going to our website, cbn.com. Here's Wendy.
All right, fascinating. Thanks, Pat. Well, up next, the stripper clothed with just a gun on her hip.
Bunch of men raining down 50s over your head, 20s or whatever. Everywhere I went, I had a lot of respect. People knew me that I didn't even know.
See why she stopped dancing in the middle of a set. That's next.
Well, we're going from the answer to cancer to one of the interesting facets of our entertainment world. Verna Maston was the queen of what was called the Kitty Cat Club. Verna headed up an empire that had 100 women stripping and selling drugs. With her in charge, the money was good and the parties never stopped. But then in the middle of a dance, Verna says, I'm walking away from it all. Here's why.
I was having a good time getting high. I was having a good time drinking. I was having a good time being promiscuous, selling drugs. I made a lot of money. I mean, tons of money.
Pleasure and power were all that Verna Maston cared about. The reasons for her lifestyle choices go back to her childhood when she was one of 14 kids.
I felt overlooked. I was like searching for the love, like I wanted the love and the validation from my mom and my dad. And my dad never said that I love you.
At the hands of family members, Verna was molested as a little girl and raped at age 14. Though she told her parents, they decided to sweep it under the rug.
I didn't feel as though it was my fault. I just felt hurt and betrayed and abandoned. The hurt turned into rebellion, anger, violence. A person that didn't take no stuff off of nobody, especially a male.
At 16, Verna started going to church again, hoping someone would love her. Instead, she got pregnant by a young man there and was shunned.
And they told me I had to get married or I was going to die and go to hell. And I was like, well, I don't even like the guy, you know? I know I'm pregnant. I just want to keep my baby.
They married, but after a few years and another child, the marriage failed. From Verna's perspective, so had the church and God.
I said that I don't want nothing to do with God, and I'm not going to church anymore. I don't want to hear nothing about God. I don't want to hear his name. I don't want to hear nothing. I just don't want to hear anything.
For years, Verna scraped by as a single mom until a friend convinced her she could make money as a stripper.
Being a mother with 2 kids, getting social service, food stamps, and stuff like that, I said $100 to dance off of a 3-minute song, I'm in.
In no time, she reasoned her way into a new career.
I can feed my kids. I can pay my bills. I can buy all kind of clothes and different types of cars. I can travel all over the world. So that thought went out the window, that it was sleazy, it was disgusting. It flipped into, I'm gonna make a lot of money.
And she did. Verna built a huge business as an exotic dancer, drug dealer, and madam, going by the name Star. While it was all very lucrative, there was more in it for her than money.
Worth. It gave me a sense of worth later on. Everywhere I went, I had a lot of respect. I mean, people knew me that I didn't even know.
And it met another need Verna carried from her painful childhood.
I think it was important because no one would be able to violate me. With 2 guns on my hip, you know, that also helped.
Verna says she had pangs of guilt along the way, but they were easily subdued with drugs and alcohol. She was enjoying it all. But by 2002, Verna started to sense God calling her out of it. She tried to ignore his voice until one night in the middle of a set.
You at a strip party, stripping, bunch of men, raining down 50s over your head, 20s or whatever, and you trying to dance and trying to drop it like it's hot.
She says God told her to leave right then. Verna stopped dancing and ran to the bathroom.
And then the Lord spoke to me while I was sitting right there. He told me to come out from among them and be ye separated.
But letting go of her lifestyle wasn't as easy as she thought.
The money, because that was a lot of money. It was the worth, too.
Within weeks, the growing conviction Verna felt brought her to a crossroads. She holed up in her house for 6 weeks, poring over God's word.
When I took responsibility, that's when I said, Lord, I want you to come into my life. I repent of my sins, and save me. Because the pride had me so, I'm all right, but I wasn't all right. I was lost.
Verna found over time that God was able to meet her deepest needs in a way her past lifestyle never could.
Sex couldn't fill it. Drugs couldn't fill it. Alcohol, money. The only thing that could fill that void was the love of Jesus Christ. And once I started embracing his love, all that other stuff slowly dissipated.
Verna is now an evangelist and remarried. She and Garland enjoy each other, her daughters, and grandkids, and especially sharing the truth of God with others.
And I found my worth in Jesus Christ. It's in him that I move and live and have my being.
Some of you may think, I've sinned the chance away for heaven. I'll never make it. I'll never make it. I've sinned away the chance. How much sinning can you do than what Verna had done? She's a madam. She's got 100 girls doing this stuff. I don't know how much it was prostitution, but there was probably a lot of that going on. She's into drugs. She's corrupting people's lives. Everybody she's touching is being corrupted. And yet God reached down and spoke to her and said, come out and be mine, because he had a claim on her life. And it's so wonderful. You know, a song has been going over and over in my mind. You've probably heard it, but it goes like this. When the trumpet call of God is sound, and time will be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and strong, then the saints of God are bright. The saints of God are gathered on the other shore. And when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. I want you to be there when that roll is called, when the trumpet call of God comes, and time will be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair, and the saints of God are gathered on the other shore. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. I want your name to be included when the roll is called. I want mine to be included. I want to be part of that company of saints when the time is no more. I want to be there, and I want you to be there. How do you do it? You say yes to Jesus. You receive his forgiveness and salvation. Verna did. You can. You say, well, you don't understand how bad I am. Yeah, I probably do. You probably have no idea what I would know about you, but God knows everything about you, and he says, I'll forgive you anyhow. So I want you to pray with me right now, wherever you are. Do it. Just pray with me. When that roll is called up yonder, will you be there? I want you to be there. Bow your head. Father, in Jesus' name, pray with me now. Say these words. I am a sinner. Father, I know that you died for sinners, and you died for me. At this moment, I turn away from sin, and I turn to you, and I ask you, Lord, come into my heart, be my Savior, be the Lord of my life, and from this moment on, I'm yours. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Amen. If you prayed with me, I want you to do something because it's important. And you say, why do you do these things? Well, you need to confess what you've just done. If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. And I want you to confess with your mouth. Now, we've got folks on these telephones, lots and lots of them, several hundred, I hope, today, and they're there for you, and they love you. And I want you to call right now, real quickly, 1-800, and there's the number, 700-7000, 700-7000. I'm going to give you a little packet called A New Day. It'll tell you what to do next. CD in here. There's some marvelous teaching about what God has just done for you. I want you to call at this moment. If the line for any reason is busy, come on, call right back because there'll be somebody there for you. And just say, I just found the Lord. I gave my heart to Jesus. You can send me the packet. If you don't want to give us your name or anything, that's fine. But you call anyhow and say, I just gave my heart to Jesus Christ. All right. Well, Wendy's here with another important guest, so let's get a look at that. Wendy.
Thanks, Pat. Still ahead, he was the chief of the Dallas police, and then a protester snapped and murdered 5 cops in cold blood. Hear how they caught the killer and the one man who united a city. Next.
Welcome back to Washington for the CBN News Break. PureFlix Entertainment has donated $25,000 to replace a destroyed Ten Commandments monument in Little Rock, Arkansas. 32-year-old Michael Reed drove his car into the 6-foot stone tablet and smashed it late last month, less than a day after it was installed on state capitol grounds. An Arkansas state senator told reporters he had no intention to use taxpayer money for the new monument. With the PureFlix entertainment donation, a total of $55,000 has been raised in private funding. The original was also paid for with private money. PureFlix produced God's Not Dead and the sequel, part of which was filmed in Little Rock. PureFlix has also announced God's Not Dead 3, which will begin production this fall in Little Rock. Well, Superbook is helping support churches in Indonesia. More than 2,200 churches in 17 cities in the island of Bali are using the Superbook curriculum. Since they started using the curriculum, close to 140,000 children are now able to use it in Sunday school every week. CBN employees also conducted training for Sunday school teachers in 3 cities across the province of North Sumatra. Well, to learn more about what CBN is doing around the world, go to cbn.com/international. Pat and Wendy will be back right after this.
Last summer, Black Lives Matter protests erupted in cities across the nation. On July 7th, the city of Dallas paid host to one. While the evening started out peaceful, a retired Army vet began to open fire on police officers that were securing the event. David Brown remembers that day because at the time, he was the chief of the Dallas Police.
In July of 2016, a sniper killed 5 Dallas policemen. The gunman said he was retaliating because of repeated killings of unarmed black men by white cops. Dallas Police Chief David Brown ended the shooting spree and restored order. As a Dallas native, David says God called him to protect his city. In his new book, Called to Rise, David shares how his faith guided him through 33 years on the force and how to make positive changes in your community.
And Chief David Brown joins us now. Chief, great to meet you. God bless you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Let's get right into it. Last summer, July 7th, a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest started around 7 o'clock in your city, Dallas.
Right.
9 o'clock, you had gone home and you got a phone call that several officers were down. Take us through what happened.
Sure. I had left home for home. I lived right across the street from headquarters, so just leaving home, I was still close by. But the protest was ending, and then spontaneously, the marchers began marching through the city without, giving us notice. And what happened is a sniper took advantage of that spontaneity of the marchers because officers had to scramble to block traffic to keep cars from running over the marchers. And because they were turning their backs, stopping traffic, this sniper took advantage of that and began shooting them in the backs.
And his name was Micah Johnson, right? And he holed himself up after he shot some cops. And he went out into a building and sort of was holed up there and started saying that he wanted to shoot as many cops as possible, right?
Right. Our brave officers were in a running gun battle with him and chased him up to the 2nd floor of a community college in downtown Dallas in a gun exchange throughout. Several hundred rounds were exchanged. Officers ran toward bullets to protect those very marchers that were protesting police.
And you're on the phone, you're communicating with officers on the ground, and what are you advising them? What do you do in a situation with a guy like that who's already said, I want to kill cops, I'm not going to stop till I've killed as many as I can? Do you reason with him or do you take him out?
We had negotiated with this man for 3 hours. I was a former SWAT squad leader during my tenure for 7 years, and so I knew exactly what this meant, that someone who was intent on killing more cops, laughing and bragging about the cops he had already killed, and he was a very expert marksman.
Yeah.
And so we had limited options, and I was unwilling to put another cop in harm's way, and we chose to do a very unique, first time only ever in law enforcement's history to weaponize a bomb robot.
A bomb robot. I had never, this is new to me. Yeah. So you send a robot into this building, a bomb robot.
Yes.
It gets 1 foot from this guy.
Right.
And he doesn't even see it because you guys are talking to him, you're negotiating with him.
Right.
So,
we strategically began negotiating with him because he was out of control in his rhetoric about killing, particularly white officers was his target.
Right.
And so we began negotiating with him while this bomb robot went down that was strapped with a pound of C4. And we had a detonation cord attached to it and a remote detonation in case it failed, so that we could get close enough to end the siege.
And this was your call, and you said, let's end it.
I said, let's end it. And given the same circumstances, Wendy, I will make the same decision again.
Wow. How does your faith, I know you're a strong Christian, I know you were raised by a single mom who was a strong believer. How does your faith play into all these things that you went through on the force, and especially that night?
Well, I got to take advantage to say this. I'm a Christian, not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. I've got to say that first. But our life story, if we're Christians and trying to live out our faith, they have a purpose. They have a meaning while we go through tragedies in our life. And I've had my share of tragedies. But what that's done for me through my faith, I'm able to have empathy. And it's more than empathy. I have hope in the most desperate times, in the deepest, darkest moments, in crisis moments. My faith gives me hope, and I can share that with others.
And Chief Brown, you've had more than your fair share of tragedies. Yes. You lost your first police partner, Walter, in 1988,
yes.
and he was killed in the line of duty. You lost your brother. He was shot by a drug dealer a few years later, and you lost your son, who was mentally ill, shot a cop, and then he got shot.
Right.
While you were an officer.
Yes.
You said that was losing your child was the worst pain, undescribable pain that you've ever been through. How did your faith get you through?
Well, if you read the Bible and that story of Job, and how God sustained Job through worse tragedies than I've gone through, you take those examples of the Bible and you take that and apply it to your life, and how you share with people who go through tragedies. It's authentic, Wendy. It comes across to people. I know what to say to grieving families because I've grieved. I know how sometimes to be quiet and listen to people share their pain.
Right.
And so I was able to do that on a national stage because of my tragedy. You don't think anything good can come from a tragedy, but we know through God's word, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord.
And you said in your book that you used to be the kind of beat cop, you're lock them up and let God deal with them later.
Yes.
And then something happened. Then you started seeing these guys differently, and women.
Yes. God gives us compassion for people. He convicts us in our own, sometimes we feel superiority. And what happened to me is I transformed to a lock them all up and let God sort them out, to a community-oriented policing that applies some compassion to people, particularly people who have mental health problems or who are drug addicted that need maybe diversion from prison so they can get treatment. And then the violent people will obviously need to go to jail, need to have more jail bed space so that we don't, again, have a revolving door for criminality.
Well, there are a lot of people watching who may have taken sides on the Black Lives Matter versus the Blue Lives Matter. You're both. You're black and blue.
I am, yes.
I mean, what do you say to them?
I say go to a funeral of a person of color killed by a police officer, and then go to a funeral of a cop who makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
The grief is the same.
Right.
The pain is the same. We need to take away these labels of black and blue. I always thought I was in the people business.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm there to serve people regardless of our lot in life, our status, our social demographic lot. I think that if we take away those labels and apply service.
All lives matter, right?
All of them. All of them.
I love
Even the label of all lives matter, creates some dissension with some people. I just say we're in the people business. Let's care about people more than we care about our position in life and what we believe in, as far as Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter, and you'll likely have a more better outcome.
All right, well, we've just scratched the surface, Chief, and
you
look way too young to retire, so I don't know what God has next for you, but his book and this cover looks fierce. You got to get this. Chief David Brown, Dallas Police Chief, called to rise, and you certainly did that on behalf of Dallas and our nation, and we salute you. God bless you.
Thank you,
so very much.
You're welcome.
All right, you can get this wherever books are sold, and we will be right back with more of the 700 Club right after this. All right, it's time to bring it on with your email questions, and we're going to start with this one from Mary Ann. She says, I am struggling in life right now with my husband. I dreamed I was fighting the devil, actually rebuking him and yelling at Satan. What could this mean? Maybe my husband is just evil. Please pray for me.
You know, I can't tell you what it means. I don't know you. I don't know your husband. But it sounds like you've had a pretty rocky marriage. And maybe at this point you can get some counseling and help. I don't know whether he's demonic. I don't know anything about him, so I can't say one way or the other. But it does sound that's a terrible thing to go on if you feel your husband is as evil as your dream implies. So there must be something terrible in your marriage relationship, and. Well,
it reminds me of that scripture, you know, that we don't battle against flesh
and blood,
but we battle against principalities.
But you don't know, you know. You may think your mother-in-law is Satan, but she's not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I don't know, but what I do think, there are godly people who can give you godly counseling, and that's what you need in that marriage relationship. It sounds like it's really in trouble. We leave you with today's Power Minute from Psalm 16. You will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. Well, that's all the time we've got. So for Wendy and all of us, Pat Robertson, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.